Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of my Out of the Park Baseball 21 series with the Colorado Rockies, and it's been quite a while since I've posted really anything on my channel or anything in this series for that matter, and I've basically just been pretty busy. I'm pretty sure I haven't uploaded in like a month or two, but no worries, I do plan on kind of working my way back into uploading on this channel, especially since Out of the Park Baseball 22 will be arriving in about a month. So I do plan to upload a new series, which I'm not sure what team I'm going to pick quite yet, but I do plan on uploading a series for Out of the Park 22. So definitely look for that when that comes out. And in the meantime, I do plan on uploading some of this Rockies series, and also if anyone has any suggestions, definitely shoot them my way, and I'll definitely consider adding that to my channel. My kind of focus for this is basically a sports gaming channel, so I'm particularly interested in playing games kind of on that kind of line of thing. So if anyone has any suggestions that I could play in the meantime, that would definitely be appreciated, or really anything else that anyone would want to see. I know I'm not necessarily a big channel or anything, although there has been some decent activity, it looks like, based on people watching and stuff, which is another one of the reasons why I kind of piqued my interest to start playing again, because people apparently are still watching this, so I thought that was quite interesting. But if you happen to remember, when we left off in the series, we started off this 2024 year 2-12, which was not good and definitely not what I wanted to start the season off. And just to refresh all of your memories, we pretty much were a mid-70s win team right up until last year, where we were 86 and 76, a much improved team, but did finish third in the division and did not make the playoffs. And I was obviously hoping to take a jump this year and improve on that record, but to this point we have really not been that good. And if you look at our expected win-loss, it's been a little bit better than our actual record. We are last in our division currently, but our division's pretty good. We of course have the Padres and Dodgers, who are good, and the Giants have also looks like taken a step forward and are also good. So we're just kind of left out, it looks like, especially this year. And kind of getting into the swing of things episode-wise, starting off, we pretty much weren't doing anything well. We were 2-12, pretty much expected. We're not hitting as well as I would like to for being at Coors Field. What's kind of interesting is our pitching is pretty good. We are first in the league in strikeouts, fourth in pitching WAR here. This is league rankings, I always forget. Not so good defensively so far, but our pitching is definitely pretty decent. I'm pretty good, and of course, we made some big additions in the offseason, like Giolito, who's currently on the shelf. So he hasn't been pitching. I literally just put him on the IL. He's been pretty good to this point. And with that note, we'll get into kind of the performances this year, see how things have been kind of going for us. Miguel Maya, we of course acquired him from the Cubs, and ever since he's been pretty much our guy. Last year was his first full year starting at catcher. He's an above average hitter, slightly above average hitter league wise, and he's a catcher, so of course that's pretty valuable. He also is a pretty good defensive catcher for us, and he's pretty much chugging right along on pretty comparable numbers to last year, except for that OBP, and not walking as much, but I'm still one of the better catchers in the league. Buster Posey, our backup catcher, kind of so-so. He's not going to hit for any power at this point in his career, but again, he's a backup to Amaya, so preferably he doesn't play a lot for us, at least behind the plate. He's also our backup first baseman, so he probably gets a little bit of time there. And speaking of first base, Tristan Cassis has been a big disappointment to this point. 212, 284, 416. Not a very ideal slash line right there. But literally in the past 2 years, he's hit 42 homers in each season. Slugged by 500. I mean, he's a good hitter. Pretty decent at first base if I remember. I think about league average probably for first base, although it is first base again. Yeah, definitely would like to see him hit better. His strikeouts are way up, and they're already pretty high, so he can't really afford to strike out anymore. Levon Soto, of course, a guy who had his first full year with us last year. He's pretty much picking up where he left off. He, I believe, suffered some injuries, and that's why he didn't have a full season last year. And he's been pretty good this year. I mean, through 60 games about, he's been, his numbers are pretty identical, honestly, to last year's numbers, so it'll be interesting to see. I mean, he keeps on continuing. I definitely like his profile as a guy who walks a lot and does not strike out a lot. So he puts the ball in play and cores with that big outfield and lots of space for the balls to drop. I think he can be a pretty good player for us. Of course, not the most highly rated, but still very useful. Nice young player. Bobby Dalbec. He's been pretty decent. Of course, he's another guy like Cassius who strikes out an absolute ton, but also hits for a ton of power. He's hit over 50 homers in the past 2 seasons. A really incredible year with 40 doubles last year. He was absolute monster for us. Pretty much both those years, not quite as good. Yeah, he actually started out really slow, so he's pretty much getting kind of into the swing of things now, so he's been pretty good. He also was playing through an injury a little bit. So hopefully his numbers continue to go up. We'll definitely need him if we're going to kind of turn things around. And I mean, at this point, playoffs is probably a stretch for us since the 2 top teams of the division started out so hot. We've got Brendan Crawford, our backup shortstop here, and I mean, he's just been absolutely awful. He wasn't very good last year. Pretty much brought him in for his defense, last veteran look, and he basically doesn't have anything left. So I think we're just going to DFA him. I know we have Vavra here, who's pretty comparable, honestly, in AAA, and he's been very good in AAA the past 2 seasons, so we'll just go ahead and bring him up, and he'll take over the backup infield role. Another backup infielder we have here is Colton Welker, and he's also been extremely bad at only 30 ABs. His ratings have also pretty much crashed for some reason. He's been a guy who's been, I mean, he's a real-life Rockies prospect, and he's been in the organization the entire time, pretty much a 4A player, I guess, at this point. Pretty much every year, as you can see, he's hit extremely well in AAA, especially last year. I mean, look at that slash line, just absolutely ridiculous. WRC plus of over 140. But I mean, he's absolutely ridiculous. Pretty much last year, good in AAA. Had very brief stints in the major leagues in the past and played pretty well in those stints. And came in this stint, and he just has not been very good at all. His ratings are also, as I mentioned, crashed. I think his rating was like 50 coming in the season. I'm going to guess he's probably out of options. Yeah, that's probably why he's on the major league team to begin with. So I guess we'll kind of leave him in for now because there's just no point in having someone else. I mean, Levine we could call up. He's in pretty much honestly the same type of player as Welker. We'll turn into him. And he's only 24, but he's blocked by Cassius. He's not a fantastic prospect. Well, Cassius obviously hasn't been playing well either. Yeah, I mean, there's no other infielder that we could call up that would kind of fill that hole. I mean, we'll hold off on Welker. We have Grant K, who's had major league time with us before in the past 2 seasons, so we'll hold off on Welker. We'll let him play that out a little bit, just because, I mean, the backup infielders on our team don't really get any playing time because our starting infield is so set. So not wasting any more time on that. Pretty much we have our corners platoon here, ish kind of thing. Actually, not even. We just have a bunch of good corner lefty hitting outfielders. Mitchell, who, start to the season. He was pretty good last year, actually, really good last year. He's pretty much been our pinch hitter off the bench. And every year he's played so far, and he's been good. Taylor Trammell, he is having a fantastic season this year. Also took a huge step forward last year. Actually, no, he's been good pretty much every year we've had the majors. Every year we've had him, and this is just a continuation of his development. I mean, pretty much all around good hitter, gets on base, hits for power, hits for some average. Yeah, very good player, not a very good fielder, but of course we knew that he's actually been pretty much average. He's decent range, he just can't throw pretty much, which is fine because I mean he's just in left for us. David Infante, he is an international guy that we brought in this year, basically just because he's a right-handed hitter and very good against lefties, and all of our outfielders are lefties, I'm pretty sure, except him. He doesn't really had too many. Actually, no, he I'm pretty sure he platoons against lefties, because I do see he started a decent amount of games. Kind of low BABIP here. He hits for some power. Which is pretty much the kind of player he is. Not a ton of contact, good gap power, pretty decent defensive outfielder, can handle center field. So he's a good player to have, useful guy against lefties. And then Josh Lowe has actually been pretty much tearing it up for us this year. Very good offensive season from him, of course. Not very good offensively last year. Pretty good offensively in the year before that, in limited starting role. So he's kind of been pretty much up and down. He's also playing center field for us this year, which isn't ideal. That was a whole spiel, I remember, that kept going over, that we just don't have a good defensive center fielder on this team. And Lowe just kind of been sticking there, and he's not very good in center field defensively. Joey Gallo here, of course, we made a huge trade to acquire him last year, and when he wasn't performing very well, and then what do you know, we brought him in the Coors Field, and he was pretty fantastic for us last year. Now come back this year, and he's been awful again, so I really don't love to see that. I mean, he's been absolutely terrible. I mean, pretty much been a replacement level player for this time. So, I mean, obviously really hope he turns that around. We have him under contract for quite a few more seasons, so don't want this trade to quickly become a disaster as it's kind of looking so far. And pitching-wise is kind of what I'm really interested to see here. And by the looks of it, it actually doesn't look like... yeah, I mean, pretty much fits the narrative that our pitching has been pretty good. We did have some major injuries that I want to remind everyone of. Giolito and Rollison, two guys in the rotation, are out just for a little bit, minor injuries. We lost Almonte for the year, who was a very good pitcher for us. Pretty much in the past, very good reliever. And he's on the shelf pretty much for the... Oh, no, he'll be back torn UCL in about a month. Then Durbin Feldman, who also... He's a pretty decently rated reliever. He hasn't been absolutely fantastic for us. He was pretty good last year, actually. But he tore his labrum. He's done for the year. So that's about it for that. And again, just sorting by FIP here, I kind of don't understand how we've been this bad, especially if our pitching has been this good. I'm going to guess it's a lot of bad BABIP luck in our favor. We also, that is another thing about Coors, of course, huge open space for hitters. And, you know, that kind of translates over to the pitching side, where it's kind of, you know, it's pretty hard to pitch in Coors, you know, the thin air, lots of surface area for balls to land for hits. And as kind of so, we do lead the league in strikeouts, so that is going for us. But, you know, when that ball kind of does get put in play, yeah, I mean, we have lots of BABIPs here around above 300, especially a guy who's struggling, so that's pretty expected. But yeah, I mean, lots of guys have been good. Chapman's been amazing for us. Noah Song, he's been very good. Montes, Knebel, Fernandez, Gudo. I mean, pretty much everyone besides Ben Bowden and Kyle Mueller have been good for us. And Mueller, he's been pretty bad for us. He's also pretty... he also wasn't that good for us last year. I believe we sent him down at the end of last year because he wasn't performing well. And it looks like now with... kind of the reshaping of the team with the injuries we've had with Paredes been caught up, and he's been around for a while in this organization. So if you've been watching the series, you probably know who he is. And Montes, he's looking like he is slid into rotation now. He wasn't starting at first. Yep, no, he wasn't. And Noah Song is also getting some starts here. So more to the bullpen, which is definitely for the best because he's been the worst guy on our team so far, pitching-wise. So yeah, that's pretty much it for wrapping up team performances there. Definitely see how we're underperforming our expected record, but I think we're definitely a better team than that. I think this is honestly probably just or somewhat of a product of our division just being so stacked. I mean, this Padres team is disgusting. The Dodgers were also very good. Now the Giants apparently have a good team. And even like the Diamondbacks are a 500 team. So I guess we've just gotten kind of unlucky in that kind of aspect with playing a lot of division opponents or something. I'm not really going to look too hard on that. Just hopefully our season can turn around here. We're buried pretty far in the wild card standings at this point. Lots of good teams in the National League, it looks like even Washington, Pittsburgh. I mean, teams above 500. Although, of course, we're very early in the season still, so some collapses definitely could happen. And with that said, we're going to go ahead and hop into the first-year player draft as we usually do in this next regular season episode here. And it doesn't look like there are a ton of fantastic players available. This guy McLucas is available here, and I was about to say that I would definitely take him, but he definitely is a full-on bullpen guy. He just threw 3 pitches, but he doesn't have fantastic stamina, so definitely won't be a starter. So definitely not interested in taking him. This Chris Brown guy sucks. And then, I do kind of like this Drew Burress guy. Fantastic defensive outfielder. Definitely a center fielder. Not the best hitting ratings. Can get on base a good bit, at the least, which is very good. Kind of same thing with this guy, although, I mean, he's probably less useful with the bat, probably, just because of the fact that his discipline doesn't have as much potential. I've seen guys historically, with that good discipline rating, really develop into better players than expected. And here's even another defensive center fielder, probably the best defensive guy of the bunch. This Jim Hess guy is not very good. Neither is Chris Powell. Yeah, so we're gonna go with Burress here at our first pick. And I was kind of hoping that one of those other guys would drop as well, but they did not. This Watkins guy is a reliever. This guy's base running rating is awful, even though his speed is so high. It's kind of frustrating. Honestly, this Washburn guy looks decent enough. 3-pitch pitcher, really. I think I'm going to take him. He looks pretty decent. And all the other guys that we looked at here at the top weren't fantastic. This Espinoza guy, going to have a lot of control problems. Yeah, it really is looking that a lot of these guys here at the top are unfortunately not interesting. This does not look to be a very stacked draft, honestly. This is pretty disappointing, to be honest. So we're going to just go ahead and look at some potential ratings that I think are interesting. This name looks really familiar to me for some reason. I feel like I've drafted this guy in a previous series, or even he was in the draft like this year somehow, and he's just here. Yeah, he's also been in college for like a million years somehow. Yeah, because his hitting ratings are pretty good, but for some reason he's like a two-way player that like can't really pitch. Yeah, it's pretty weird. Honestly, I might take him though. All of these hitters pretty much don't look absolutely fantastic. This guy, he honestly might be the best of the bunch. This Friedman guy, not really a catcher, but maybe an intriguing bat. Same thing with this Jack O'Connor guy. He's an actual outfielder that can field, which is interesting. This guy is pretty much DH-ish. He's not very good. I'm in the field. Jared Burton, I forget if I went over this guy, a corner outfielder. Jack O'Connor. So we're gonna go with him. He's probably the best guy out of all of these. which honestly isn't saying much. Joel Bird, I don't even know if I looked at this guy. He's an outfielder. A lot of these guys are also from PA. It looks like okay, so for a second I thought like I was somehow just like searching like statewide or something, because I was noticing pretty much like a lot of these guys here at the top are all from PA, which is interesting. Gonna look at pitching potential here, and he has a lot of good stuff. I mean, honestly, whoa. Okay, well, this guy's kind of interesting. This guy looks to have like electric stuff, very bad control, and honestly, he's probably worth the draft, just because there's literally no one in this draft. Like, I'm probably not gonna look at this for much longer, to be honest, because there's just not like really any guys that are too interesting here. Yeah, I mean, totally understand. I mean, I feel like this is probably one of the worst drafts in general that I've ever experienced in this game. Like, there's literally, we got through a few rounds and there wasn't even really anyone that was even like looking to take or anything. This was definitely a weird one, that's for sure. And I mean, even all of these guys, these guys with good fastballs, these guys are just not real interesting at all. Any good knuckleball pitchers, why not? This guy, Kevin Gonzalez, he can't really do much of anything. Any like super hard throwers in here? Like Dow guy, maybe? I don't even know at this point. This guy's got 3+ pitches, but he's a catcher. I think I've also noticed that with this game too, like there are a lot of like weirdly labeled players, like a lot of like position players that like can pitch, or like pitchers that like can't pitch but they have like good hitting ratings and are looked at as more of like a pitcher. Not a pitcher, like a hitter. So it's definitely weird. I've noticed some like of those inconsistencies in this game, and there just really aren't even. What was this, circle change? Even though changeups historically really don't develop in this game, this guy's got a screwball, Ian Butler. At least a pitch that looks like could be a really good screwball. Curveball. A 24-year-old reliever. I think I'm pretty much done with this draft. It's not very good at all, which is pretty disappointing to see, because usually the first few years, like in my Tiger series, we built pretty heavily through the draft and the combination of prospects already in the organization. So that really sucks. So I think I'm probably going to I wonder if there's any free agents here right now that could help us out that got released. Heimer Candelario, a guy who was in the Tigers series that we did. Very weird career, and this looks like he had a pretty good, like he was a decent, maybe he wasn't a decent player, but he had a good 2022, had some up and down years, and last year he was absolutely terrible. I was honestly kind of thinking about signing him there. Cuthbert, we just need someone to be backup infielder. Escobar, how's he been? He'd been in AAA last year, and he was pretty fantastic. He also hasn't really had any bad major league seasons here. The only thing is he can't play shortstop. Although I guess that's fine. Lots of 45 rated guys here. I was about to say Hedgevery I don't want, but literally last year he was a 2-win player with the Nationals out of nowhere. Like literally this is weird. Okay, so obviously, 2020, obviously that's the year we started the save, and then he gets a little bit of time with the Yankees in 2021. Doesn't even play in the majors in 2022. Comes back 2023 and has like a 2-win season with the Nationals, which he hadn't done that. That was his best year of his career, and he played in 114 games and 360 ABs. That is definitely a very interesting season right there. Ooh, Brad Miller. Although he's like another lefty, even though he's consistently I mean, not even really consistently. He's had 2 good years here, and like game time here. Honestly, I think we like need to sign one of these guys. Wow, there's actually a ton of 45 like decent like veteran pieces here, so I feel like we have to actually go after one of these guys to help solidify our bench here. Oh wow, Justin Turner like can't field at all, and somehow he's been putting in like pretty good defensive seasons. I mean, not defensive seasons. I actually kind of want to look at this because he's been in the National League this entire time. Oh my gosh, I mean, look at these defensive ratings. And negative 48 zone rating. Oh no, that wasn't even. That was like all time in the last season. I mean, negative 27. Okay, that's. I was about to say negative 48 is actually insane. So it looks like his fielding rating just took, like literally just skydived off like the face of the earth. Just as terrible that I honestly would have brought him in because his hitting, I mean, has been fantastic still. Honestly, it's probably looking like we do like a Brad Miller. That's not Brad Miller. We do Brad Miller. Actually, want a quick look at. I think is Vavra. Vavra's a left-handed bat too. So definitely okay. So this is actually a hole that we're gonna fill right here by bringing in a righty bat. So not Brad Miller. Oh, Posey. I guess Posey and Amaya are really in a platoon. Yeah, so we're just gonna sign some right-handed insurance off the bench here, that hopefully pays off here. Candelar is a switch hitter, isn't he? Yeah, and he's better against righties. So we're just basically gonna find the first guy who's against lefties here, which should be Escobar, honestly. I mean, not really. You know, I'm pretty sure he's better against lefties in real life. I'm pretty sure. Robertson here, bad personality here. Urshela here is okay. He's also a bad personality guy, but okay, he's better against lefties. I mean, not too much. Jose Abreu, I mean, he doesn't help us. So do we look at Hedgeria here? I mean, his bat isn't even very good. All these guys are also bad personality guys, so I think I'm kind of catching on to why these guys are even here in the first place. This guy is really interesting. He doesn't have like any major league playing experience. But yeah, so honestly, we're going to go with Escobar here. Offer him contract, minor league contract, which is perfect for us because I didn't want to offer a major league one. So he'll get the minors here for a little bit, and then basically he'll most likely become... I mean, literally, if any infielder gets hurt, which would be absolutely terrible and will literally kill our season. Oh my gosh, this catcher is here and we're going to claim him, even though we're not going to get him. But I didn't even notice that. But yeah, that's going to be the end of this episode. Kind of weird to come in and after not playing this save for a long time, but nevertheless, we did it, and this team is definitely not in good shape, which is definitely a shock to the system. Especially since all the moves that we made were to improve an 86-win team, and now we're like hovering on 500. So hopefully we can turn it around. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll be back in the next video.